It's the last episode before All Hallows Eve, so it'll be all treats and no tricks. Best wrestling mustaches, all-time comfort matches, an ultimate challenge, and another list we may have issues with. Boo! It's FWP.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks. FWP, so good I listen weekly. Welcome to Final Wrestling Place.
I'm Tim.
I'm still Marcus.
Well, I had to get out of the other voice. There's another voice, and then okay. But welcome to Final Wrestling Place, episode number 270. I don't remember. 270 something. The race to 500 is on, or not 500, 300 is on. But we have
502.
Yeah, man, we just keep going. We're gonna keep going until we die, or the internet dies, or something happens. But thank you for joining us on your podcatcher of choice, or YouTube, or however you listen to us. We absolutely appreciate it. Before we go any further, take some time, go on to social media on Twitter at TNM Shows, on Instagram at Final Wrestling Place. Follow us, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/at Final Wrestling Place.
Ring that bell.
Marcus knows the lingo, and we will appreciate your patronage here and in the future. Thanks for listening to us and keeping the conversation going over on the soon-to-be-named network Discord in the TNM Shows channel. But as I mentioned in the top of the show, we have a ton to talk about, including topics that I gave other podcasts that come back over to us, including comfort matches and, of course, top best mustaches in wrestling ever. And we also got our hands on a list that makes my skin boil. And
you know us.
Yeah, you know
Big
us.
List guys.
Already bad list Jones. Or bad place list Jones. But, of course, we're going to talk banter. We're going to start with, Marcus's favorite thing in the world. Marcus, how are you doing, my man?
Good. How are you?
You've been better, right?
Been better, been worse. Yeah, I'm good.
Chiefs up today,
I'm
right?
Good. Chiefs up. Never a doubt. Come on. You know the Chiefs. 7-0.
Excuse
undefeated.
Me. I don't want to call you a liar.
Yeah.
But I see the text in the chat that says, feels like the bad Chiefs L.
It felt that way, yes, because we are good for one or two losses a year where we just play outside of our bodies and minds, and you can tell, we're going to lose today. It was starting to look like that, so that is how I felt. Don't try to call me crazy for having those kind of emotions.
I'm not. I'm just saying you said never a doubt.
I didn't doubt the team. You did. There was no doubt. No. I said it felt one way, but I had no doubts in my mind.
Come on, man. Don't play a logistical game of logistics with me. I know what. Don't try to. What's your favorite phrase from Will Ospreay? Restore the feeling.
Restore the feeling, bruv.
Don't try to restore the feeling on this one. How did D-Hop do this week?
I mean, he did as I expected. I think he had a handful of catches for a handful of yards. It was more so just having a professional wide receiver on the field. It makes a really big difference. Yeah, 2 catches for 29 yards.
Okay.
3 targets. So we just need a professional set of hands and a wide receiver out there. I don't expect him to put up more than like 4 for 50 most weeks. He's going to take Rice's role. He doesn't have the explosion really at this point in his career to pick up the yards after the catch, which we are okay with. We just need to. This might be the best set of hands that Mahomes has ever thrown to. Still at this point in D-Hop's career.
Even over Kelsey?
Yeah, over Kelsey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kelsey's good for one ball that he should have caught that gets dropped a game.
Okay. I'll take it.
But yeah, when it comes to dependable, reliable wide receiver, this is the best one that he's even had. And I'm including Tyreek Hill in that. Fantastic route runner, tremendous speedster. But D-Hop has still got super glue on his hands, man. He's still incredibly good at the catch point.
For sure. It's
not as high as it used to be, but
hey.
We seem to be professional. We're good. So yeah, Chiefs are up 7-0. Man, sports vibes are really good. Your team
across the board
today.
This isn't a visual podcast, but let me put the beanie on.
There we go.
The big W's
Commandos.
on. Commandos, baby, left hand up. Okay, so full disclosure, I was not watching the end of the game. I was watching NXT Halloween Havoc.
Okay.
And I got 2 texts back to back. One from our boy Brett using obscenities at me in excitement. But I also got a text from your mom.
Oh, okay.
Saying, unbelievable, go Commanders. And in my head, I'm like, okay, if Brett is saying something to me, that's one thing. But a person who barely texts me and barely watches football
listens to the show.
What now?
Hi, Mom.
Hi,
but
Mom.
Listens to the show.
Agreed. No problem. But rarely texts me and barely watches football, tells me unbelievable go Commanders. I have to see what's going on.
What's causing all this?
I pull it up and then I see us give up the lead with like 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this isn't what's causing all this. Ain't nobody doing this. And then I'm watching, and Tony Romo's a G. I hate how good Tony Romo is at this calling football stuff. He's really good. Some would call him the John Smoltz of football commentary.
Don't start with me.
He's really good beyond his craft, but literally calling the play before it happens. And man, the miraculous tip drill, Hail Mary, Noah Brown in the back of the end zone. Just got it. The lightest, easiest Hail Mary catch you'll ever see. I'm not super excited about the way we won. I am super excited that we won in the face of adversity with no timeouts and going the length of the field in 30 seconds. Like, that to me makes me feel real good, Jack. Other things that make me feel real good.
No.
Is that
be nice.
I am being nice. I'm going to be as nice as possible. Okay? I am getting what I want. And that is that the Yankees may not win the World Series.
Yeah.
I'm also getting what I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want the Dodgers to win, but in order for the Yankees to lose, the Dodgers must win. So
just pick a hand.
I will take solace in the fact that the reason why the Dodgers are winning is because of an Atlanta Brave. I will take that.
I mean, is he really a Brave when you guys said, you know what, actually not worth any money?
Actually, it was his agent who put a whole bunch of lies and deceit in his brain. Do you remember the first year he went to LA and he cried at a press conference because he wanted to go back to Atlanta? You don't remember that. It's okay. You want to?
I do remember that.
You focus on 27 World Championships, partner. I'm gonna remember my Braves. Okay. All right. I remember Freddie Freeman crying his face off during a press
It took him
conference.
like a whole year.
I don't want to be in Los Angeles. I want to go back to Atlanta. I didn't want to come here.
Oh man.
He's a Brave, okay?
Okay. All right.
He's a Brave because he's not playing for the Yankees. Unlike Brian McCann, unlike Gary Sheffield, unlike Josh Donaldson.
Mm-hmm.
Hop to spit on that thing.
Donaldson sucks.
But I do feel bad that not only are you the first team to lose three consecutive games after being up 3-0 to lose a postseason series, you are also the first team in World Series history to give up a walk-off grand slam.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes, whenever history's made, somebody's got to be on the bad side of it, right?
Oh yes, and that's
There's no such thing as double-sided victory, Jones, on a historic moment.
As a fan of a team who used to win those type of games, it is tough to be on the other side of it. And it's not humbling because when I saw Nestor come out of the bullpen, I knew exactly how this was going to go.
Let me see if I have your exact quote.
So much so that I put money down on Ohtani to hit a homer in the plate appearance.
Right thought, wrong guy. Where is it? Here it is. There it is. Dude, I knew it was over when Cortez came in. He hasn't pitched in a month. I could see the first pitch to Ohtani out of his hand. Should have been gone. Not surprised at all. 10th inning is not the time for Nestor.
So
and then you
Nestor
said some bull hockey about John Smoltz. We're not going to get into that.
So yeah, Ohtani gets under the pitch from Nestor, doesn't drive it out. It's an out. But then we walk Mookie, which I said, maybe we shouldn't do that. I don't think that's a good idea.
Loading him up against a good swing.
And you put Freddie Freeman, historically great hitter.
Yes, sir.
In high leverage and with runners in scoring position.
I know.
And you throw him a pitch. I don't know if this stat is right, but it's something like he's hitting like
practice
667 or something like that with like runners in scoring position with like that pitch and that look. Like it was some ridiculous stat. And you see it out of his hand. There was no doubt about it.
Marcus, I think that anybody in the soon-to-be-named network who had a month of consistent batting practice could have smashed that ball from Nestor Cortez.
Yeah.
Any of us.
It was a potato, man. There was no spin. There was nothing on it.
Yeah.
No movement. He has a historically bad fastball.
And
I just don't know. So, compare that to game 2 when Tim Hill, our actual lefty reliever, was brought in to face Freddie Freeman and got him to pop up on the first pitch. Maybe just an idea here. Maybe we send out the high leverage reliever lefty to face the lefty in game 1 of the World Series with a lead. But no, what do I know?
I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you something right now, Marcus. Are you ready? You want me to be nice. You ready?
Yeah.
Here is Tim being nice. The Dodgers did what they were supposed to do.
Yes, they took 2 at home. That's how I'm rationalizing this.
So now the Yankees got to do what they got to do, what they're supposed to do. You're coming over to New York now. Is it 2-2-1-1-1?
It is 2-3-2.
Okay, so you now have 3 games at home.
Yeah.
Take advantage.
Easy. Now Tuesday.
Do it for
Monday,
Damian Priest.
Yeah, Monday is a bullpen game for the Dodgers because they only have 3 starters. So I believe Monday is the bullpen game, and I believe Tuesday is Walker Buehler. I think that's right. And maybe switched, but I feel like the bullpen game's coming up first. We gotta win. We gotta win. We gotta take 3 at home. That's all. Yeah,
you gotta get your business done. And if there's any team who can handle their business at home, it's you guys, right?
It is us. The main concern, besides us just being outclassed, like 6 through 9, in the batting order, it's Aaron Judge right now he's in a cold streak.
Slumping.
He's slumping. He is so behind with his swing. It's looking like 2016 A-Rod up there. The swing is slow. He keeps sitting on breaking pitches where he's not annihilated breaking pitches this season. He has hit his home runs and he has done his damage off of sitting on fastballs and getting into a fastball count.
Mm-hmm.
And he has completely lost that this postseason where he's sitting on breaking pitches, trying to club it 500 feet. Has to get back to getting in fastball counts, make them throw you a fastball. And he is so good, historically good, that he can send it out of the park.
Right.
That's what's got to be done. And if it's not going to be done, then you got to move him up to 2 in the lineup so that he's seeing better pitches to hit. And you got to move Soto down to 3 and keep Stanton at 4.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I would do for Game 3 of the World Series.
Brother,
I'm moving Judge up.
I'm with you. I hope the Yankees lose, but I want it to be a good series. Like that's as nice as I can make it, right?
Get a game, come on.
You can get 2. You can get 3 games.
All right.
Yankees are no strangers to losing after having 3 games up in a series, so like that's fine. Do your work at home and then go on the road and then lose 2 straight and then Dodger Stadium. There was a fun conversation in the Discord about Manny Ramirez being the greatest of all time. I don't know if you saw that, or it was on Twitter. It was on Twitter. Sorry, with car seat headrest and Ronnie Deuces, and of course me. Manny was the best. I remember when he.
I didn't think so.
Yo, man, no. Anyone who drops a deuce in a big monster, the green monster, yeah, that's my guy. Dude who got popped for taking estrogen pills. Yeah.
Well, you got to counteract everything going on, you know.
Well, this was back before we knew about chicken and rice and Nutella. Okay.
There's only a couple of recipes back then.
That's right. They were all reserved for Barry Bonds, allegedly. But I promise we're going to talk about wrestling.
Yeah, I guess we should, right?
Yeah, no blind rankings this week. No beat the clock this week. Because we got some homework assigned to us from other podcasts. Specifically, We Need Wrestling. There were some questions asked on that podcast this week. Go back and listen to We Need Wrestling, WeNeedWrestling.com. We Need Wrestling across all social media. But I called them and I left them a little text message. I also left the same question over at Odds for comfort matches. And I know you and I had a conversation not on the podcast, but in our text chains about like matches that you like can watch at any time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this was actually during the three of us. I know Brett brought it up, but we tagged along with Brett during a rewatch of WrestleMania 13. We all linked up our television sets and we hit the play button on our Peacock, and we got to Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. And that match is timeless. That match is etched in stone, encased in glass, crystallized in resin. When wrestling is gone and they rebuild wrestling like Jurassic Park, that match is going to be the fossil that they pull out and extract the DNA from the resin to rebuild wrestlers to put on display. But yeah, man, comfort matches, comfort promos, comfort segments. And I started wrapping my brain around it once they returned the serve back to me. I got 9 on my list,
Okay.
including the one I had mentioned on the podcasts. But I'm curious if you could name at least one other match that's on my list.
I'm gonna guess White Castle of Fear strap match.
So the match, no, but the vignettes, yes.
Okay.
The White Castle of Fear match is great, but I find more comfort in the vignettes of Sting in the chopper, having to get to the White Castle of Fear, walking into what looks like the Fortress of Solitude, Vader in like an iced cave. That joint was sick. I'm gonna guess. I know it was on there for the longest time, but I don't know if it's still on there. Is Brett Perfect from SummerSlam 91 on your list still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like a layup for me because like it's literally picking one of the best Bret Hart matches of all time. But I know that your tastes have changed. And I think you've also, if I'm right, you've softened your stance on that match, right?
I mean, no, I still think it's great. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, like the King of the Ring one is better," and I'm like, "Why not both?"
Right.
Like, no, they're both 5ers for me. I'm no coward.
Right. But I think like you used to say that was like your favorite match of all time.
Yeah, that's changed, but
right. That's what I'm saying.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. You've softened it from being number 1 to like number 6. It's fallen a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it's in the favorites discussion for sure.
Right. But what else do you have on your comfort matches, promos, segments?
I've got Hogan Morocco steel cage match from June 85. There's some good promos there too from the Magnificent one, but this one's a new one for me in the last like couple years. Like once I found out about it, I went back and watched, and thanks to the old WWE Network, the one that worked better. I like just really like it. It's good. It's intense. It's just makes me feel good. So that one's on the list. Then I'll throw a second one out. Flair Steamboat from Clash 6.
Okay.
That is the 2 out of 3 falls match. Goes just about an hour. I know the stadium isn't full. The lights are basically turned off. There is a lot about the setting you wish maybe was better. But once they got in the ring, man, I love that match.
Right.
Love that match. It's not the most exciting match that they have, but again, I'm going for comfort. I can watch that match anytime and feel comforted.
Nice.
What do you got?
So I did list Sting versus Hulk Hogan from Starrcade 97. Especially the entrance. I can watch that entrance. I can watch Sting's entrance every day until I die. That is, it might be it's probably my favorite entrance of all time, especially the camera work where they faded in Hogan during the Sting walk, which I don't think they've done since. Which
I'm trying to think. I think they did that maybe at Starrcade a couple years later. I feel like it happened in like Nash Goldberg for some reason.
Okay, but either way, like we don't remember
it's not
that one.
Done,
but,
right. It's not done the same.
Yeah, and it hasn't been done at a meaningful level, which is surprising to me. Like I would have been surprised. Like Sting, like AEW should have easily done this, like at least twice already. You know, they could have easily done that.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another point: is my list does not have any AEW matches on it, because of the fact that like it is hard to have like a comfort match promo or segment without the ability to queue it up whenever you want. Like, because of the inaccessibility to it for right now, like there are matches I can recall in AEW history that I'm sure would make my comfort list.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But right now, unfortunately, I can't because there is no rewatchability for AEW right now, unless like you bought the pay-per-views. You still have access to like your Triller account or your Fight account or whatever. Like that's where that stuff is. So a lot of my stuff is very WWE heavy, very WCW heavy. I do have one Ring of Honor match.
Okay.
On my list.
I was wondering, how much variety we'd have. So throw it on.
Yeah. So you probably know what my Ring of Honor match is.
I don't know if I do.
If you when I start to talk about it, you will absolutely remember, and you'll like smack yourself in the head.
All right,
but don't do that because you'll get a concussion.
Yeah.
It is from the very first Death Before Dishonor. It is a very, very disrespectful Deranged.
Yep.
Against Low Key. And I know people talk junk about Low Key, but boy, is it fun seeing Low Key beat the dog out of somebody. And he, like, Deranged doing the taunting. The Low Key, like, gargoyle taunt. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man. But just
Dude,
Low
we would
Key,
watch that match, like, 2 or 3 times like a piece, just like run it back
because it's like 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's super quick for a Ring of Honor match
because it's an impromptu match. Because I think Low Key's technically hurt, and like Special K is like making fun of him, and then out comes Low Key, and then Deranged just like picks a fight, and ding ding, man, that's so good. But I also have on my list as well Bret Hart and Stone Cold from Survivor Series 96.
We've got a match.
I think so as much as I love the WrestleMania 13 match, for my money and my time, I would much rather watch Survivor Series 96. I know that's a personal preference thing. I know a lot of people will probably disagree. But, and you're probably saying, why not both, right? Like,
why not both?
Right. But I'm not taking both. I'm taking the one. I'm taking the first match. I like it better. I do like it better. What else do you have on your list?
I have Heart Foundation versus the Demolition from SummerSlam 90. Also a best 2 out of 3 falls match.
Nice.
It's not incredibly long, but I think it's really hot in the building, so it looks like the match went for a long time because like Demolition's face paint is peeling off.
Yeah.
Brett is like dripping sweat. Anvil's a sweaty mess.
Yeah, he is.
And you got like the run in with Axe and just like the hokiness of like, oh, the referee doesn't know like who's who. And you get Legion of Doom coming out for like their major like pay-per-view debut. And so like that's a cool moment. And you get the Hearts like truly being crowned as tag champs. So match just always makes me feel good, man. Always like it. Yeah, vibes are high with that one. Which also leads me to Royal Rumble 1992. And this one's by a huge layup. I would imagine we share this one. I don't know if it made your final cut, but this is just, I don't know, chicken soup for the wrestling fan soul. Like, this match, I don't know if there's a more universally beloved match than Royal Rumble 1992.
Yeah, it didn't make my list, but it's not because like it doesn't belong on the list. It's just one of those like iconic matches that is on my comfort list, but it's on everybody's, I think. So I kind of just left it off. Because I was more, my brain was more focused on like trying to find like the rare ones that may just be me that I'm super stoked about. Or that are comfort to me. But yeah, man, Royal Rumble 92. Is there another Royal Rumble that comes anywhere close to 92?
I really like 90. I really like 2001.
Okay.
And then I think there's like a really long gap. And it's probably the Philly Rumble, which I think is 2016.
With Nakamura.
With Nakamura winning. That one's great.
Yeah.
I also really love the 2020 Rumble.
Okay.
So I don't think they're on the same.
That's the Edge return?
That's the Edge return. That's the McIntyre win. That's the Lesnar run.
That's the Kobe Rumble.
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy. But yeah, other than that, I don't have any other Rumble matches on my list. I do have a couple of more WWE matches on my list. All right. I have from SummerSlam 2002, I have Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio.
All right.
I think it's the greatest opener in the history of wrestling. I think it's better than Brett Owen from WrestleMania. This match is awesome. This match, chicken soup. It's like 11 minutes, maybe not even.
If even, yeah. I think it's 6.
Is it 6?
I feel like it's always in the best matches under around 5 minutes list.
Yeah, I'm trying to take a look and see if I can find the listing on SummerSlam 02. SummerSlam 02 to me is like a comfort card as well.
I mean, yeah, like I was thinking about that too, like comfort shows. That's a whole other
919
discussion. Okay.
So it's under 10.
Under 10.
Yeah. But that whole card, Kurt Mysterio, Ray or Flair Jericho is better than it should be. Edge and Eddie's good. Christian and Lance Storm versus Booker T and Goldust. RVD versus that guy we don't talk about anymore.
Match rocks.
Undertaker Test rocks. And the unsanctioned street fights. Is that Triple H's best match ever? Like, you're not big on that match, are you?
I think I just hate that it's a street fight that ends with like a
roll up,
a jackknife pin. Yeah. Like, because like, I don't know, like, sure, Brett Diesel ends with the roll up, but like the whole story of the match is like big guy versus little guy, and like Brett weaseling him in, suckering him in. in his environment of like an ODQ match to like get the win and get the title. Like,
Right.
That's what Brett wants. And like he wasn't attacked in like a parking lot and like brutalized to like half death.
Right.
Where like Sean was. So
Right.
yeah.
And I get that. And then of course Brock Rock. But one other match that is a SummerSlam match that is on my comfort list, and I think I might be one of the only people that has this on their comfort list. It is from SummerSlam 89.
Ooh, okay. Now we're talking, baby.
It is Tito Santana and the Rockers versus Rick Martel and the Rougeos.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That match bangs. It's so good. Even like the intro to the ring where like the Rougeos are singing All American Boys and they're like talking to the camera. They're like, that's us.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
That's another one. Like it's a big comfort show. Like
Yeah,
I could almost pick anything from that show and put it on.
Right. I have a couple of more. What else do you have on your list before I wrap mine up?
I've only got one more,
Okay.
and that is Rock Austin WrestleMania 17.
Okay. Not the best Rock Austin match. Everybody knows that's 19.
All right.
I also have a rock segment from on my comfort list, and that is the Rock concert from
Okay.
03.
This is the Sacramento one?
The Sacramento. The best part about The Rock being in Sacramento is that in about an hour and a half, The Rock is gonna leave Sacramento. Fantastic stuff. Last two for me is Undertaker Yokozuna from Royal Rumble 94.
Oh, great pick, yeah.
The promo in the casket. Bam Bam doing a dive on the casket. Like, he's not getting out, brother, man. You're doing the right thing. And then the last thing on my list is a little match from August 2nd, 1992. In Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
It is Ron Simmons beating Big Van Vader for the WCW Championship.
Not the only time Ron Simmons will come up today.
Not at all. But yeah, those are my comfort matches, man. Comfort matches, comfort segments. Let us know in the Discord at TNM Show or the TNM Show's channel. Let us know in the comment section or in on the Twitter machine, what have you. Let us know your other comfort matches, promo segments, etc. Yeah, we'd love to hear about it and love to chat it up with you. The other question that came up that we've been told we need to give our expert opinion on is a question from, I believe it was Daniel Silverthorne, at the end of We Need Wrestling. And if it wasn't Silverthorne, I apologize. It could also have been Howard the Dave. I get it all confused. Actually, I can settle this right now because it was asked in the Discord. So let me pull it up. Killing time.
I want to talk about the Yankees lineup.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Gotta keep Torres at the top, obviously. Now, what you could do is you could also move Judge up from 3 up to 2.
All right, it was Howard the Dave. All right, you're done. Howard the Dave. Howard the Dave asked the question. Okay, fellas, I got a question for this week for you too. I've recently found a YouTube channel that does a bunch of wrestling quizzes, and they had to guess the wrestler by the mustache. Who has the all-time best stash in wrestling? We can't just pick one because that'd be too civilized. So we're going to go Mount Rushmore style, like they did on We Need Wrestling. So I have my 4. You have yours. I'm curious if we're going to have any crossover. I do have one dark horse.
Okay.
I have one extremely specific wrestler on the list from like a specific time period. And then the other two are people that have had mustaches like probably out the womb.
Okay.
So I will let you go first. Who is your first mustache on your Mount Rushmore?
Number 1, first stash, first face etched into the stone. It's got to be Rick Rude. Give me the WCW mustache.
Yes. That WCW caterpillar.
Older, a little bit of gray starting to sneak in.
Means he's seen some ish.
Real bad man, Rick Rude.
Yeah. But borderline babyface running the company, Rick Rude.
Not for that back injury.
I know, right?
Hogan would have went crawling back to Vince.
That's right. Ricky Rude does not make my list.
Okay.
But my number 1 etched in stone on Mount Rushmore is Magatier.
Oh, strong.
The Magnum.
Very strong.
That mustache is the template for so many other great mustaches in wrestling, including the Hangman Adam Page, who, if he keeps this mustache for a while, who knows? Who knows where that mustache will sit?
Might work its way into the conversation.
Might work its way into the conversation. Your second mustache.
I'm going with Road Warrior Hawk.
Well, very good. I'm actually going with a tag team wrestler myself.
Okay.
And I am going to go with one half of the new Blackjacks, Blackjack Bradshaw.
Ha
The Blackjacks ride again.
ha.
I love Blackjack Bradshaw's mustache. It is ridiculous. Just the painted black, very devious mustache. That ish rocks, dude. I'm here for it. Next mustache for you.
I will go with his tag team partner, but not in the new Blackjacks. Give me Ron Simmons.
As teased during the comfort matches. Which era of Ron Simmons' mustache are you going for?
I mean, WCW World Champion. Ron Simmons.
Baby.
Yeah.
Don't step to Ron.
Don't step to Ron. Yeah.
Yeah.
That era, Ron Simmons.
That's pretty great. My third mustache is Dan the Beast Severin.
So I had a feeling he was going to come up. Great depth pick. Very strong stash for sure.
Yes, it is a depth pick. It's often looked upon, but I want to give this mustache its flowers. I don't recall it being brought up on We Need Wrestling at all. But Dan Severin for sure has a strong mustache game. Your last mustache.
Speaking of strong men, I'm going with, even though he was a little bit older, in quotations, I'm going with Harley Race.
Oh, the man
as the manager of Vader.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The actual mustache.
Yeah.
Not the full man stash that Triple H ripped off.
No, not that.
Fair.
Not that. Although that is, if we're talking facial hair and wrestling in general, that is very high up for all-time cool look. But
Kabuki.
Yeah, mustaches. Give me the church deacon look. Harley Race. Business shirt, jacket, yes. Members only.
Diving headbutts for no reason. Oh, just so good. So good. My last mustache it's almost cheating. Because he did wrestle, but he's not necessarily known best for his wrestling. But I am putting on my list Don Fry.
Okay.
Don Fry is my dark horse good mustache in wrestling.
All right.
You seem disappointed.
It's your list. I'm not going to fight you.
Go ahead, fight me.
Your list. I'm not going to fight you.
Fight
because I don't think pro wrestling when I think Don Fry. That's all.
Right, but you can't say he wasn't a pro wrestler.
To me, him and Dan Severn are too close.
The mustaches or the work?
Same. If we were doing, this guy's that guy? Same person?
I don't know about that. It's close, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan Severn's.
I'm not going to fight. It's your list, though. I'm not going to disrespect
That's all good, man.
Don Fry.
Yeah.
Or Dan Severn.
So my list is Magnum TA, Blackjack Bradshaw, Dan Severn, and Don Fry. Your list is
Ravishing Rick Rude, WCW era, Road Warrior Hawk, Ron Simmons, WCW champion, and Harley Race manager, handler of Vader.
Big Van Vader. Yeah, Vader time was running wild with Harley Race. Man, between Vader and Luger in 91.
Yeah, 91 he was with Luger. Manager of champions.
Yeah, man. Harley Race was that dude as a manager. Very underrated manager, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people look to him when they say like best managers of all time. I don't know if they ever look at Harley Race.
Okay, so add this to my comfort matches / segments because I didn't have any segments. Starrcade 93, Harley Race and Vader roll up to the building to start the show, and it's earlier in the day. And you see Race getting Vader's bags, and Vader's just talking to fans. Who's the man? A lot of pain tonight.
I gotta find
and
that.
And then it cuts to them. It cuts to them in the ring, and Vader's hitting the ropes, and he's doing his bandage stretches, and Harley Race has the mitts out, and Vader's just teeing off, and he's got him running drills in the ring, and it's like Ric Flair is a dead man.
I gotta pull it up right now.
I love that opening. It's all of like 90 seconds, but it's great.
I gotta pull that up as we're going right now. You said Starrcade 97, 93.
The very start of the show.
The Flair for the gold. The second Flair for the gold.
Yeah.
And you notice while he puts that.
No, pause that. Mute that. Rewind. Bump and grind. It's a matter of time. All right, so I got that going in the background for me. Oh, it's baby pictures of Ric Flair. Get out of my face. I don't want to see this. Ric Flair propaganda. Oh, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh my gosh, what a look from Jesse Ventura. That is gnarly and nasty. Here it is. Man, is that a Mercury LeSable? I don't know what that car is, but
it's Car Champions is what it is.
Vader is out here in the Ribera Steakhouse. I'm gonna let you see this. Hold on. I had to pull this up. Here we go. There it is.
Oh man, I love this.
The Vader man, who the man is. Ribera Steakhouse jacket with the towel tucked in. Harley Race got the bag. Look at those banded stretches. Oh my goodness. Just now this makes me want to break out, wants me to open the Ultimate figure.
There you go.
Shadow boxing the camera. I don't want any of this at all. Like, is there any?
Can't wait for him to hit the ropes. Here he goes.
Vader's the man.
Who's the man?
I think you know how people say.
Oh, the mitts are just Harley Race's hands. Good grief.
It might as well be. Yeah, but that's good stuff. That's excellent work. Right there. You know, a lot of people said like you want to build a wrestler from the ground up. You'll start with Randy Orton or something else. I think you got to put Vader in that conversation. Prime Vader. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's dangerous. Like,
yeah, 92, 93 Vader for me is... He's the man.
he might, like, if we do all-time wrestlers, and, like, you can pick a time period for wrestlers, I think this is a fantastic conversation to revisit. But, like, time box wrestlers to a specific time period of, like, we've discussed it before, height of powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the height of powers for some of these wrestlers, right? And while you won't necessarily say that, like, Vader is one of the all-time greatest wrestlers of all time, if you look at his depth of work, if you box in that, like, 92 to 94 run of Vader in WCW, maybe tighten that up a little more and you cut into 93?
Scandal proof.
Vader's the man.
Yeah, I mean, his 92 to 94.
That's what I was saying, 92 to 94.
Yeah.
But is there anybody you wouldn't want to be across the ring with more than Vader? Like, if somebody were like, hey, you got to fight Vader, you got to wrestle Vader tonight.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else you could think of to be like, you know what? I'd rather face this option, and it's equally as bad. It's tough.
New
right?
Jack.
New Jack. Okay.
Just because he might have a sharp.
True. What about Goldberg for a different reason?
Oh, but Goldberg better watch out for me.
You gonna send him a kick? You gonna airmail him a kick?
A kick with my hands.
Hand kick. Hand kick. That's right.
Right in the face.
Not a closed fist, a hand kick.
No, I would put a little extra stank on the big boot for what he did.
Good.
And just be like, oh, sorry, I apologized.
Shinron levels.
Oof.
Hey. Allegedly. So here's a conversation that you and I also had, but I'll let you bring it up because you were the one who volleyed it to me, sir. But this is an excellent topic, and I feel like it's worth discussing here on Final Wrestling Place.
Yeah, all right. So I saw on Twitter floating around a question by like maybe an aggregator, and I'm not going to give them credit because they're an aggregator. But I did think it was a decent topic for discussion. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I know this about my homie, so I'm gonna ask it. The situation is you get to pick 4 wrestlers to have their entire match catalog at your disposal, but that is the only wrestling that you can consume. So who are your 4 guys?
Okay. So let's both just right now, before anything else is said, let's just both check off Bret Hart.
You know it. I know it. The
Bret's
world
off
knows
the
it.
list.
Bret
Okay.
Hart. Yeah.
Bret's off the list. And I feel that is where our lists separate.
Okay.
I am so confident that the 3 other wrestlers I have listed are not the 3 wrestlers you have listed. It makes it so much better.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's see.
Okay. So my next wrestler I would watch forever is the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Give me AJ's entire breadth of work. All the TNA stuff, the New Japan stuff, his WWE stuff. It's hard to find like real stinkers. Like even the stuff when AJ's not quite AJ. You know, when AJ Styles is a really good move doer and he's really young in his career, but he doesn't quite have the promo skills yet, and he doesn't quite have like the superstar ability yet. You know, kind of like Kyle Fletcher in a way. Even then, really. AJ Styles was exciting enough to watch in the ring that you could be patient enough and let the other parts of his game catch up and get there. I
would just say that in 2002, AJ Styles was truly phenomenal, and there was no doubt about it.
Correct.
So maybe he took that baton from Rob Van Dam. Maybe he became something unique of himself in a spot that is morphed into Will Ospreay now. That's not Kyle Fletcher. Not even close. Not even 1-1.
I'm being facetious.
So
I was drawing a very thin line between AJ Styles and Kyle Fletcher. It's a light gust of wind snapped that cord in half.
Different tier to hear Marcus and Tim bug Brett about Kyle Fletcher.
Where he didn't respond, by the way. Totally didn't respond.
He said, I don't want any parts of this. Get me out of here.
Yeah. And now he's going to listen to the podcast. He's like, all right, now, brothers. And he cusses us out, and then he gives us his business. But yeah, so AJ Styles for me makes my list.
Okay.
Who is your number 2? And your number 3?
My number 2.
We'll go in serpentine order.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Easy answer. So,
and that gives me a lot of variety.
It does.
Gives me a lot of variety. Tail end of some world class in there. Gives me a lot of early WCW, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. And then I get a little bit of ECW. Just a little bit. But then I get his run from 96 to, I mean, even up through the WrestleMania fight with Kevin Owens. I get a lot of stuff I really like and a lot of matches that I really like too. That was another thing, like, you know, oh man, like I really don't want to lose this match or that match, but like I get WrestleMania 17 with Austin,
right?
With him and Rock. You know, I thought about putting Rock on my list. He didn't make it. But I was like, really, it's like the crown jewel of Rock's work for me is the WrestleMania 17 match. And with Austin, I get like just such variety. Like I get Hollywood Blondes, like my favorite WCW tag team. So yeah, it's Steve Austin, number 2.
Okay. And who is your number 3?
My number 3, you know, it's Sting.
It is Sting.
Give me Sting. The stuff where they're figuring out in the territories, Mid-South, give it to me. The NWA, WCW stuff, and see him figuring it out and becoming the franchise into the Icon, into the Crow, the cool Wolfpack Sting. Shout out, Ed.
I'm so mad because I didn't put Sting on my list.
You know, you get a couple of things in WWE, fine.
Yo, the match with Rollins is really good.
I like the match with Rollins, but you get all that TNA stuff. And for me, this is where I get to fit in some AEW stuff.
True. Yeah.
I love his match with 3.0.
Okay.
Absolutely love that match. I really love the match that him and Darby have with Big Bill and Ricky Stocks. Love that. They
win the tag titles, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, give me Sting.
Yeah, man. So I went on this not of like listing like my favorite wrestlers of all time, but like I definitely went by work. And like Sting's work is great. I'm really shooting myself in the foot for not having Sting on my list. Because we've talked about it before, and like Joe said this, but like, you know, Kenny Omega was using the phrase best bout machine. He might be the first person to call himself the best bout machine, but the first actual best bout machine is Sting.
Yeah.
He just has really good matches for no reason. Like, he's a walking 3-star match.
Consistently really good to great.
Yeah.
And exciting.
My number 3.
You're not going to find like a boring Sting match.
For sure. My number 3 is another, it goes along the lines of like comfort wrestling, but I'm taking with my number 3 Samoa Joe.
Oh, okay.
I get a little bit of crossover with AJ Styles, but I also get glimpses. I get pockets of wrestlers who should have made my list, but probably but didn't. Right?
Yeah.
Like Sting and Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe.
Mhm.
You've got all of Joe's Ring of Honor stuff. You've got all of Joe's TNA stuff. You've got AEW with Joe, right? And you've got WWE stuff with Joe too. Like just the promo alone with him versus Brock Lesnar, where he's like punking Brock out to Brock's face. And you just visibly see Brock Lesnar get angry and ready to like bust him up real bad, Jack. And I get to watch him bust Necro Butcher's head on the ground. Really good stuff. And then like his matches with Jay Lethal in Ring of Honor too are like really good. So I can't go wrong with Samoa Joe at all. My number 4 though is probably going to shock people because I am playing the futures game here.
Oh boy.
Okay. I'm picking a person who of what I've seen of him, I have him fully on track to being a Bret Hart, an AJ Styles, and a Samoa Joe.
All right.
Okay. 4 wrestlers to watch forever. My number 4 is Konosuke Takeshita.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's high praise.
His run on the G1 this year makes him an instant add to this list. For the simple fact that he made me want to watch a match with Jeff Cobb in 2024. Okay? Like, that match with Jeff Cobb is better than it should have been. And he had, like, the 3 next best matches on the entire tournament. Right? Give some time, give some seasoning. Takeshita, to me, he's better than Ospreay. He is, I think he's the best wrestler. He's the best wrestler alive today. Like, that's my praise. He's my pedestal guy. He's my wrestler guy. He's my wrestler, quote unquote. Okay. There's none over him. And I'm glad he's finally getting some recognition. He's got the title. He had the banger at Maple Leaf Wrestling that Brett and DJ talked about with Speedball Mike Bailey. Mileage may vary. But Takeshita, I'm playing the futures game. I see another decade plus of great matches coming out of him. I just hope he stays healthy, he stays motivated, and he's jazzed up. And it sucks.
High praise.
It's crazy that of my 4 wrestlers to watch forever, none of them are Sting, Muta, or Undertaker. Because, to me, my connection to them is more emotional and not really like my connection to Muta was one match and then I was just hooked forever. My connection to Undertaker is practically one match. And then Sting, like, just being a WCW kid, like you could not be a WCW fan in the early 90s and not love the Stinger. He is everything you wanted it to be. Luckily for me, I know I never have to be pigeonholed into only watching 4 wrestlers for the rest of my life. But even then, like, I still get a little bit of Sting with Brett. I get a little bit of Sting with Joe. I get some Sting with AJ. I get a little Undertaker with Brett. I get a little bit of Undertaker with AJ Styles. So like I can pick and choose like parts of things that are really good. But like for the Undertaker, I don't want to watch I don't want to watch him versus Giant Gonzalez. Him and Kamala. Him and King Kong Bundy. I don't want to watch Punjabi Prison with him versus the Big Show. Yuck.
The Punjabi Prison with Batista and Kali was dope.
That was okay, but it makes sense because Kali's in it. Like Undertaker and Big Show, Undertaker and Big Show they had a match because elevated enzymes of the liver. Like that's exactly what it is. But I'm very curious to hear what you guys have as your top 4 wrestlers to watch forever. Let us know. Comments, Discord, Twitter, top 4 wrestlers. What did I say?
I need to give my 4th.
Oh, you have not given your 4th. My apologies.
I'm not giving your 4th.
You're sitting here flashing the symbol of the horseman.
My Spawnbuster hand.
You got to hang the 4 down. Yeah, bad taunt.
No, real quick. I'm not 100% committed on who my 4th is, and it's varied. Like as I've thought about this, I'm gonna go Rob Van Dam.
I can see that.
Yeah, some WCW as a job guy, ECW stuff. He's a freak of nature when he comes into WWF in 01.
Yeah,
it's such a strong run that first year.
I really want you. Go ahead.
No, I just say like he gets snuffed out a little bit at Unforgiven 02 when Triple H just like beats him. But that first year, man, he's guns blazing.
I want you so badly to. I know that you'll never do like a full watch through of ECW, but I definitely want you to do the Rob Van Dam watch and watch RVD through ECW. Like you just have to watch RVD segments and RVD matches, so you get like, wasn't it like a really great tag match? It was him and Sabu versus Jinsei Shinzaki and Hayabusa.
Yeah, I don't know if it's great, but yeah, I would think.
I think it's memorable. And then you have the match where Sabu almost loses his eye because of a table.
Van Dam almost loses.
Oh, Van Dam loses his eye. Yeah. That's right. I knew one of them did.
Yeah, he gets a little shard.
Yeah, he does. Not to be confused with the Shard.
No,
wouldn't want to do that.
I do like that Shard.
Yeah, Shard's nice. He's jacked.
Yeah, he is jacked. Very beefy.
Very, very hungry. So wrapping up the podcast topics for today, other than I want to get this out of the way because I want to at least end on a high note. Marcus, I said last week that last week was going to be the end of this, but I think maybe I lied.
And now, Tim Taylor presents The Undertaking.
Marcus, I couldn't help myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had to give myself brain worms.
Okay.
And here's what I have to report. Okay. There's actually something funny to report from this. First of all, birds of fall. Second of all,
birds of fall.
That's right. The podcast starts with The Undertaker doing the biggest bootlick in the history of bootlicking. So he mentions that Donald Trump was at ringside during one of his WrestleMania matches. I think it was either Batista or Shawn Michaels from 25. Okay. And during his match, Donald Trump was sitting front row, but Undertaker's family was sitting in the second row, and for his match, they asked if they could switch seats.
Okay.
And here's where the bootlet comes in. So Undertaker does like a top rope diving leg drop or whatever, and there's like the shot that's seen where like you can see the Undertaker, but you see his family. And Donald Trump is seated behind a member of the Undertaker's family with a large head. And the Undertaker apologized to Donald Trump for being stuck behind his big-headed family member, that he couldn't see what was going on.
Wow. Well, if he gets elected, he's talking about throwing people in jail. So maybe Mark from Texas is trying to cover his tracks to make sure that he doesn't get thrown in the clink.
That's right. Shrink, shrink, blinkety blink. The next thing is the Undertaker has a new sponsor.
Oh boy.
And it is called, I got to find the exact website. The website, their sponsor is pdsdebt.com.
Sounds so legit.
pdsdebt.com. Not a sponsor. But let me tell you about PDS. PDS's goal is to provide financial peace of mind by leading customers to a path beyond debt with numerous financial solutions. So, does Trump need that, or does cash poor Mark from Texas need that? Because it is insane that like that is the first time I've heard this sponsor on this podcast. They also did another Blue Chew read, but Undertaker was like on his P's and Q's and he didn't say anything weird like resurrection or steroid wieners. I guess the Blue Chew guys were upset that it compared Viagra Cialis to steroids. But yeah.
Steroids are cool. Who'd be upset about that?
You're telling me.
You want your product to be compared to cool stuff?
Right. But yeah, so I watched
the steroids. Take this. That sounds dope.
I watched the whole thing, Marcus.
Okay.
I watched the whole thing. Trump interviewed The Undertaker about how real wrestling is. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. They didn't talk one thing about The Undertaker said, quote, Donald Trump made politics fun again.
Oh, that's not supposed to be fun.
And that's why, and that's why he's so excited to support him, because Donald Trump makes politics fun.
Oh boy.
What's fun about it, Mark?
Oh man.
What's fun? Talk to me about what's fun. Like Tony Hinchcliffe, for example.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm done watching Kill Tony stuff now. I'm glad I get to mark another guy off my effing list. Man, why can't people just shut the F up? Can't people just, like, I don't know, leave mystery? Back in my day, people just went to the polling boxes and did their voting and didn't, like, do anything else.
Because it was harder to make yourself known to be an idiot.
Did you hear what Tony Hinchcliffe said?
I sure did.
An island of trash known as Puerto Rico. And then did you see the comment he made about the black guy in the audience?
Oh no.
There was a black guy in the audience who was a Trump supporter. And he was joking around with him, and he goes, no, that's my friend. Just earlier, before we came here, me and him were busy at home. We were carving watermelons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I get it. It's comedy. I get it. I understand it. I've made a pretty off-collar joke about my best friend once before.
Yeah, but that was funny.
It was funny. It was embarrassing now, but it was funny then. But yeah, man, so yeah, I'm done with The Undertaker. That was my last hurrah. I'm trying to watch as much political stuff as possible just so I can remind myself of what not to do come November 5th. Like, just what not to do. Just a nice reminder to the front of brain. But that is all for The Undertaking.
All right. R.I.P.
R.I.P. The Undertaking. We'll need another thing. Just let us know what that's going to be. But we do have a list to discuss.
Oh, yeah.
So it came to our attention this past weekend that Sports Illustrated's content section called The Takedown, which is their professional wrestling section, came up with a list of the 20 greatest WWE wrestlers of all time. Here is their opening paragraph. WWE has been the home of some of the greatest wrestlers to ever grace a professional wrestling ring. From legendary in-ring competitors to extremely charismatic characters, the company has showcased some of the most engaging personalities that have made the business a success over the course of the last 5 decades. These wrestlers have sold out arenas and stadiums while entertaining millions that make them remembered for years afterwards. Here are the 10 greatest WWE wrestlers of all time, but there are absolutely 20 on the list. So I'm going to speed run through some of these, and we'll discuss the big problems with the list as we get to at the end. 20, Becky Lynch. 19, Mick Foley. 18, Chris Jericho. 17, CM Punk. 16, Andre the Giant. 15, Randy Orton. 14, Edge. 13, Rodney the Piper. 12, Kurt Angle. 11, Macho Man. 10, Bruno. 9, Bret Hart. 8, Shawn Michaels. 7, Triple H. 6, Mark from Texas. And here's the top 5. 5, Roman Reigns. 4, John Cena. 3, The Rock. 2, Hulk Hogan. And 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple problems with this list. One, because all lists are subjective. So I get it. But I also don't know what you're basing this list off of.
Yeah. Like, what's the criteria here?
Because you're like greatest wrestlers, WWE wrestlers of all time. Okay. Then why is Bad Terry on the list? He's not a great wrestler. Like, so I need some definitions, please. But also, like, this is where I'm going to stick my neck out and, get ready to get lambasted by everyone in the network, and that's fine. To me, Roman Reigns is number 1. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Roman Reigns is number 1, and he will continue to press forward as being number 1 as the greatest WWE superstar of all time.
I'm not mad at it at all. I have a theory that if you're talking just strictly WWE, I think there is a top 3 by pretty much any measure. Especially if you're just talking about like being grandiose and main events and impact on the company. I think that top 3 boils down to Hogan, Austin, and Roman Reigns.
And I'm fine with that list too. I'm fine with that too. Now, go ahead.
I think any order you want to put them in is fine, but I think that's the conversation of top 3.
And I'm fine with that conversation so long as Roman Reigns is number 1. I do not put him behind Bad Terry. I do not put him behind Stone Cold Steve Austin. I've discussed this before. Hogan had the entire wave of rock and wrestling. Yes, he was the bulkhead of that ship. But he had an entire cast of characters that were all surrounding him, riding that wave through. Stone Cold Steve Austin, not only did he have a murderer's row of dudes in the WWF that were riding the wave with him from, I would say, let's actually make the line of demarcation for Stone Cold, not the King of the Ring win. Even though technically you probably could point to King of the Ring, but really it's like WrestleMania 13. You could say Survivor Series 96 too. We'll say Austin 316 era. So King of the Ring 96 until 2001, right? That's the bulk of the run. There's sprinklings before Austin 316 and there's sprinklings after WrestleMania 17.
Yeah.
Because his 2001 might be one of the best years in wrestling history.
His 01 is insane. I wish it got more attention.
His 01 might be the best wrestling year ever. Okay. But to me, Austin is great, not only because of who he had around him in the WWF, but also what was against him on the other side of the dial. And like the NWO really pushed wrestling into heights not seen in a while. And WCW raised it to heights not seen for a while. The WWE had to answer. Their answer was Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon and The Rock and like all of these other people who they had to stack up to go toe to toe with WCW and NWO. However, Roman Reigns did it by himself. Essentially, he raised himself to a star level greater than anyone else in the company. And not by like a little bit. Like when Austin was the A1 star of the company, right? It wasn't too much longer that the Rock was right there. And in some parts, The Rock overtook Stone Cold in regards of popularity. Right? But there hasn't been anyone that's come close to the eclipsing mark of Roman Reigns, with the exception of Cody Rhodes, who had to come in afterwards and came in the midst of the height of Roman Reigns. And by the time Cody showed up, Roman was already, in my eyes, number 1. So it's like, to me, it impresses me more that you do more with less than to push the envelope so far with literally all the supporting cast you can have. That is my problem with this list.
Okay.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's not number 1. He is not the greatest WWE superstar of all time.
I would say that he is based off of his strength as a television character. Because I view WWE, I think it's best when it's an action movie. Mm-hmm. And I think Steve Austin is the best action star they've ever had.
Right. But at the same time, too, Austin, for the most part, had his direct foil as the owner of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Roman's foil?
It's not Roman's fault.
I'm not saying whose fault it is, but Roman was just as captivating television doing it with with people on his side. He didn't have any peer against him.
No, because Roman is the foil. He doesn't need one. I mean, if you want to say it's Cody based off of 2 matches, and I guess it's Cody, but
it's not Cody. I wouldn't say it's Cody at all, because by the time we got to Cody, Roman was already height of powers. Cody had to come up to get him. And he got lucky once. And he needed all the King's horses and all the King's men at WrestleMania. But to have a greatest WWE wrestlers list of all time, and Mr. Hitman is 9?
It's disrespectful at best. Oh, microphone fell.
He's 9? Like, and regardless of what you think, like, too, Shawn Michaels is 8? Like, Shawn Michaels is probably more top 5.
High. No.
He's high? So who above him? Like, obviously Mr. Hitman.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put Bruno above Shawn.
I put Bruno above Shawn. I put Ultimate Warrior above Shawn. I put Batista above Shawn. I put Undertaker. He was above Shawn, right?
Undertaker was above Shawn, yes.
I put Mr. Undertaker, Mark from Texas, above Shawn.
I put Randy Orton above Shawn.
Put Randy Orton. So yeah, how many dudes is that?
That's 6. But he's not. Is Triple H above him?
No, they both go together towards the bottom.
Is Randy Savage above him?
Yes.
See, here's the thing, though. The WWF. Like, that's where my line is. Like, it's greatest WWF superstar of all time, or WWE superstar of all time. Like, Shawn's longevity. Yes, he did take a 4.5-year break to find his smile or fix his back or whatever you call it. He still had like 2 7-year runs with the company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's tough to say. But above Shawn on this list is Triple H, Undertaker, Roman, Cena, Rock, Hogan, Austin. I think Cena at 4 is a little high.
Cena at 4 is high, but I get it. We're in an era of appreciation for John Cena.
That's fine.
And for a lot of people, he's the first. He's the guy that they're seeing like retire.
Right. Triple H is a little high for me at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Brett's a little low for me at 10. All right, Brett's a little low for me at 9. Randy Orton's a little low for me at 15. But I mean, it's all just subjectiveness. But to me, at least, Roman not being in the top, at least top 3, it's kind of incredulous, right?
I mean, I think so, but yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It is tough because what's the basis of the list? Again, there's no real. It's just you're just listing popular wrestlers in WWE for this list. So
right,
yeah, maybe that's a long project that we do
at
some point.
Yeah, I guess that would be a fun project to do with, like, if there was enough people on the network and like network adjacent who could look at something like or something like this and not bypass it as just like a list for babies, right? Like, if they really broke it down, because I think it'd be cool too to do this for like WCW and do this for like ECW and do it for TNA and do it for Ring of Honor. And even AEW after 5 years, like, what do you?
The AEW one would be fun, yeah.
AEW one would be super fun. I don't know if you'd want to do like a list of 20, but I'm down to do like a list of top 10 AEW superstars of all time. That would be super fun. But what's the biggest egregious breakdown for you for this list? And I'll give you a little help. Nobody else can see it, but they're on the screen. For you, I've got the list. Oh, that's too big. There we go. That's the list in order from 1 to 20.
I would take Randy Savage and bump him up to 6, and I could usually just move Taker and Triple H and HBK like all down to the teens. Like, to me, like, I put like more weight into like Andre, Savage, and Bruno than I do Taker, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. But again, it's a list of a person who's heard of wrestlers and is just listing based off of perceived star power. So
what's interesting, I guess what we could talk about too, is like Becky Lynch at 20.
That felt like, hey, we need a woman on the list because is it Becky? Is it Trish? Is it Charlotte Flair? Is it Ronda Rousey? Like, there's other names that probably deserve to be mentioned in the bottom half of the list if like you're factoring in those things. Like, if you're going to include like Jericho and Foley, and Punk even. So like, yeah, there's more people to consider, I would think. But yeah, I don't know. It's just tough with there's no guidelines. What are you basing it off of? Just yeah, these are big names I've heard of before.
Yeah, and it doesn't really say in the article what it's based off of. Like, it literally just says what has been the home of wrestling for an extended period of time. So either way, man, lists are fun. We'll be sure to put this list in the show notes as well, so you guys can take a look at it and rip it accordingly. Aside from that, Marcus, is there anything else we need to cover before we get into weekly purchases?
Not for me.
Cool. Did you buy anything?
No, I did not buy anything. Did I? No purchases for me.
Collapsible segment. Do you have anything you need to plug?
The calendar. Oh, that's coming up. Mr. Pig's going to be in Alexandria, Virginia for VCW Wrestling. 2 weekends, November 9th. So yeah, go check that out.
Yep, VCWProWrestling.com. It's your home for tons of information, including the show Saturday, November 9th, in Alexandria, Virginia. Nick Nemeth on the card, making his first appearance in a VCW arena. He'll be taking on Rex Lawless on the show. And then a little bit later on in the month too, or in the year too, you got some exciting another outing at VCW at the end of the year, a staple, a classic for Virginia Championship Wrestling, Tidings of Destruction, first weekend in December before the big Christmas rush. But we'll plug that when we get there. November 9th is the date you need to remember. VCWProWrestling.com. Virginia Championship Wrestling on Facebook, other social media, YouTube as well. Go back and watch a lot of the matches. They post a lot of the matches on YouTube. So give those a look and a like, and share those as well, because eyesight is the best sight. But other than that, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
Fair enough. Soon to be named network.tumblr.com at STBN Network on Twitter is your spot for the soon to be named network, which includes but's not limited to our wrestling offerings of At Odds with Wrestling with Joe and Adam and We Need Wrestling with DJ and Brett. Check out everything you can find also on the Discord, the soon to be named network Discord. You can get links if you subscribe to some of the Patreons, or if you ask nicely, we can let you in the back door. If you want to follow us on social media, you can. At Not the Tool Man for me, at the Wrestling Speakeasy for Marcus, if you know, you know. At TNM Shows on Twitter. At Final Wrestling Place on Instagram. Still trying to figure out a cool name for the show on Blue Sky, but we'll get there as we go. But yeah, so we will be back here next week to talk more fun and excitement and games and surprises. Enjoy yourselves. For those of you who are trick-or-treating or you have little ones that are going out trick-or-treating, please be careful. Take lots of good pictures. Post them in the Discord. Let us see them. And here's a little fun fact. What's your favorite Halloween candy? If you made it this far to the end of the podcast, this will let us know who makes it to the end. In the TNM Shows channel, let us know some of your favorite Halloween candies of all the times. And we will discuss them next week, because I'm sure we'll have something to talk about with possibly Marcus's little one running roughshod all over the neighborhood, putting boots to buns, stealing candy and giving it all to dad.
That's right.
So that should be fun. But all that's left, though, right now is to tell the people goodbye.
Bye, boys.